I have been staring at this painting for 10 minutes, but I still cannot decide what it makes me feel.
It is one of the most complex pieces in this exhibition. Some people see a storm, while others see the birth of a galaxy.
To me, it feels like a chaotic memory that is slowly fading away. The gold lines are the only clear parts remaining.
That is a very poetic interpretation of the artist's work. She actually painted this after traveling through the desert.
That explains the warm tones and the feeling of vast, empty space. My name is Mia, by the way.
Nice to meet you, Mia. I am Tom, and I help manage the floor here during the weekends.
You must have a lot of interesting conversations with people standing in front of these walls.
Every person brings her own history to the art. It's like looking into a mirror for many visitors.
I'm writing a paper on modern symbolism, so I'm trying to look deeper than just the colors.
The symbols here are very subjective. The artist intentionally left the meaning open for the audience to complete.
Do you think the blue swirls represent water, or perhaps just a feeling of sadness?
I think they represent the wind. If you look at the direction of the brushstrokes, they move upward.
You're right. The movement is very vertical. It gives the whole piece a sense of energy.
Most people focus only on the center, but the corners have the most interesting textures.
I see what you mean now. There are actual grains of sand mixed into the paint in the bottom left.
Yes, she brought that sand back from her travels to make the piece more authentic.
That is a fascinating detail that I would have missed without your help.
I like to point out the small things that the eyes usually skip.
Why do you think she chose such a massive canvas for such a personal memory?
Perhaps she wanted the viewer to feel small in front of the emotion.
It definitely works on me. I feel like I could fall right into those colors.
Art should be an immersive experience, not just something you look at on a screen.
I agree completely. No digital photo can capture the way the light hits these oil layers.
The lighting in this room was designed specifically to highlight the golden pigments.
It creates a glowing effect that changes as I move from side to side.
Have you seen the other works in this series yet?
Not yet. I got stuck on this first one because it was so striking.
There are 3 more in the next room that follow the same theme.
I should definitely see them to understand the full narrative. Follow me and I can show you the transition in her style. These paintings are much darker. The blue has turned into a deep midnight purple.
This series represents the night. Notice how the texture becomes much thicker and heavier here.
It feels more claustrophobic compared to the first piece. The energy has changed completely.
She used the palette knife for most of this work instead of a traditional brush.
That explains the sharp edges and the way the paint stands out from the surface.
If you look closely, you can see the marks of the metal tool in the layers.
It makes the art feel more aggressive and raw. It is almost a bit frightening.
Art is not always meant to be beautiful or comforting. Sometimes it is meant to challenge us.
I am recording these observations in my notebook for my research.
Your research sounds very interesting. Are you studying fine arts at the university?
I am a graduate student in art history. My focus is on the psychology of color.
Then this exhibition must be a goldmine for your studies.
It really is. The way she uses purple to create tension is quite brilliant.
Did you know that she only paints at night under artificial light?
That is a strange habit. Why does she avoid the natural daylight?
She says the sun is too honest and doesn't leave enough room for imagination.
That is a very romantic way of looking at the creative process.
I think she prefers the shadows because they allow her to play with mystery.
I should include a chapter about her lighting techniques in my paper.
I can give you a brochure with a full interview where she explains her methods.
That would be incredibly helpful for my bibliography.
We also have a small documentary playing in the video room upstairs.
I will make sure to watch it before the gallery closes this evening.
What do you think about the frame choice for these dark pieces?
The raw wood frames make them feel very grounded and natural.
The artist actually made the frames herself in her own woodworking shop.
She is a very multi-talented individual. I am becoming a big fan of her work.
Most people who spend time with her art end up feeling the same way.
It requires patience to see all the layers she hides in the paint.
You have the right kind of eyes for this kind of exploration.
It is nice to see some natural light again. This garden view is lovely.
This is our sculpture courtyard. It is a nice break from the intense colors inside.
That large steel piece in the center looks like a giant bird about to take flight.
It is actually called the Weight of Silence. It is made of recycled industrial steel.
The Weight of Silence. That is a very heavy title for such an airy shape.
The artist wanted to show how something heavy can still look light and graceful.
I like the way the rust is starting to show on the edges. It makes it look alive.
The rust is part of the art. It is supposed to change with the weather over time.
So the sculpture is never truly finished. It evolves with the seasons.
Exactly. It's a collaboration between the sculptor and the environment.
I wonder how it looks when it's covered in snow during the winter.
It looks very lonely, but very beautiful. The white snow contrasts with the dark metal.
I might have to come back in December to take some more notes.
You should. The gallery feels completely different when the light is cold.
Do you have a favorite season here in the sculpture garden?
I prefer autumn. The red leaves on the ground match the rusty steel perfectly.
I can imagine the visual harmony of that scene. It sounds very cinematic.
We sometimes host small acoustic concerts out there in the evenings.
Listening to music while surrounded by art sounds like a dream.
It is a very popular event. People bring blankets and sit on the grass.
I will check the gallery website for the next concert date.
We have one coming up in 2 weeks if you're interested.
I will definitely put that in my calendar right now.
I might be working that night, so I will look for the purple hair in the crowd.
It's hard to miss me. I'm a walking color experiment.
In an art gallery, that's the best way to be.
Do you ever create your own art, Tom, or do you only manage it?
I do some photography in my free time, but it's just a hobby.
Photography is a great way to capture the textures you were talking about.
I focus mostly on urban landscapes and abandoned buildings.
This wall tells the story of her early years as a student in Paris.
She started as a very traditional portrait painter before she discovered abstraction.
You can see the transition in these small sketches on the left.
They are very precise. She had to master the rules before she could break them.
That is a very important lesson for any creative person.
Many people think abstract art is easy, but it requires a lot of discipline.
I can see the structure beneath the chaos in her later works now.
She studied the anatomy of plants for 3 years to understand natural forms.
That explains why the swirls in the first painting look like vine tendrils.
Her work is a bridge between the scientific world and the emotional world.
I am writing down the phrase "bridge between worlds." It is a great title for a chapter.
I'm glad my random facts are helping your academic work.
They are more than just facts. They give the art a human face.
People often forget that there's a person with a story behind every frame.
That is why I love visiting galleries instead of just looking at books.
The energy of the space changes the way you perceive the information.
I feel like I have learned more in 1 hour here than in a week of reading.
Experience is often the best teacher in the world of aesthetics.
What is that small photograph of her in a messy studio?
That was taken right after she finished the giant canvas we saw earlier.
She looks exhausted, but very satisfied with the result.
Finishing a piece of that size is like running a marathon for the mind.
I can see the paint all over her clothes and even on her face.
She's known for being very physical when she works. She uses her whole body.
It makes the art feel like a performance that has been frozen in time.
I've never thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right.
I think I have enough notes for today. My brain is quite full.
There's one more room with a digital installation if you have 5 minutes.
Digital art? I'm curious to see how she translates her style to technology.
It's very different from the paintings. It's located just around this corner.
This room is incredible. The colors are moving all over the walls.
It is a motion sensor installation. The art reacts to the movement of the visitors.
Look at that. The light follows my hand like a trail of stars.
The artist collaborated with a software engineer to create this experience.
It feels like I am inside one of her paintings, but I can control the wind.
That was exactly her intention. She wanted the audience to become co-creators.
I feel like a child playing with magic for the first time.
Art should always keep that sense of wonder alive in us.
The colors are changing from blue to gold as I move closer to the center.
It is programmed to become warmer as people gather together in the room.
That is a beautiful way to represent human connection through technology.
If we stand close to each other, the wall should turn bright orange.
You are right. The whole room is glowing now.
It is a very popular spot for photos, as you can probably imagine.
I'm not surprised. It's like being inside a digital dream.
I like how the digital lines mimic the brushstrokes from the oil paintings.
It shows that her vision is consistent across different media.
A true artist has a voice that you can hear in any language.
I am going to try to record a short video of this for my presentation.
I can stand back so you can get a clear shot of the wall.
No, stay there. It looks better with a person interacting with the light.
Okay, I will be your temporary art model for a minute.
This looks amazing. The contrast of your blue shirt against the orange light is perfect.
I didn't realize my choice of clothing would be part of the art today.
Everything in this room is part of the art, including us.
That is a very philosophical way to end the tour, Mia.
I think this is the perfect place to stop my research for the day.
I'm glad you enjoyed the exhibition and the digital room.
Thank you for all your insights, Tom. You made this visit very special.
It was my pleasure. I always enjoy talking to someone who truly cares about art.
I feel like I need a quiet place to process everything I have seen.
Our gallery cafe is just down the hall. They have excellent herbal teas.
A cup of tea sounds like the best idea in the world right now.
I am actually finishing my shift in 5 minutes.
Would you like to join me? I still have a few questions about your photography.
I would love to. I can show you some of my city photos on my phone.
I am curious to see if your photos have the same textures as these paintings.
They are a bit more realistic, but I do like to focus on the details of stone and metal.
Every artist has their own eye for the world.
I am interested to hear more about your dissertation. It sounds very ambitious.
It is a lot of work, but days like today make it feel worth it.
I think you're going to write a brilliant paper.
I hope so. I will definitely mention this gallery in the acknowledgements.
Maybe you can even include one of the photos we took today.
I will ask my professor if a digital light photo is academic enough.
Tell him it's a study on human interaction with chromatic environments.
That sounds very professional. I will use that exact phrase.
Let me just grab my coat from the staff room and I'll meet you at the cafe entrance.
I will go and find us a table near the window.
I'll be there in just a moment.
What a lucky day for my research.
She has a very unique way of seeing the world.
I have 10 pages of notes already.
I hope the cafe hasn't run out of those lemon cookies.
I can see the sculpture garden from the cafe window.
Ready for that tea?
Ready. I am looking forward to a non-academic conversation now.
Smiling. We can talk about movies or music instead of brushstrokes.
That sounds like a perfect plan, Tom.
After you, Mia. Let's go.